one that will actually mean something to those that are going to be hopefully watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify, right? And it's a different way to think. And it's one of the senior level courses. So they've had all the other curriculums. So they kind of come in with all that foundational. And then we can really dive into how do you build a story that means something for a business and for the people that they serve.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So I want to know how you guys met. So when Gary brought you in here, but how did you two, were you guys just talking about digital one day?
Oh, no. So I started stalking her.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
No, so I was talking to student people, and I was like, I'm interested to know more about the AI micro module. And I was giving feedback because the first time we tried to use it, it didn't work for us. There was like a technical glitch or something.
Okay.
And so I was just saying, like, who actually developed it? And that's when your name came up. And said, it's Christina. And they're like, I think the two of you would make a perfect match to discuss, digital marketing and AI. And they were kind enough to introduce us via email.
Okay.
And we just started talking, had our first meeting, which lasted for, I think, almost 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
We just had so much to talk about, from teaching and then transitioning from industry to academia, research, because she's also published with AI, I believe, AI research.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, and then Voodoo Box.
Voodoo Box, yeah.
Yeah, that's like kind of how. And now we're here doing a podcast, and she's a guest lecturer today in my class at 1 p.m.
Yeah, so Student is a textbook. I don't know if you've used that one, B-Dawg.
Once.
You have? So it's a textbook company or a publisher. And then you, Christina, wrote the AI
in marketing module. So it's a free micro module just for AI and marketing. But now I'm the author of, it's called Generative AI Essentials. So it'll be courseware. So we developed a textbook as well as a simulation for all of the foundational information about how in any field, not just marketing, but any field, you'd be able to responsibly and ethically use generative AI. It's intended for like a general education or kind of your first touch in college about AI. And then the micro module is more to be more specific and advanced in your actual field.
Okay. And then it's tied to a simulation, right?
Yeah, so it has a quiz and then has like AI prompts, which I've really appreciated because even though we were not able to use it in the spring of 2024, I used it with students in the fall 2024. And there's like different prompts that sort of get students thinking on how to do email marketing, LinkedIn marketing, create a post, do data analysis, So like all these different kinds of prompts. And I open it up for students to use any kind of AI, not just ChatGPT, because that's what students are most familiar with.
Yeah.
But I insist you have to use Gemini, Perplexity, Claude, whatever that you can use. So anyway, that's how I feel like we've been able to benefit from the AI micro module that Christina worked on by basically doing the prompts, and then the students do the reading and they do a quiz on AI.
Right. Yeah. And simulations is like the first step with students.
Yes.
So they can practice it and then hopefully go into the workplace and test those things
really
too.
Which really is so critical in this area.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially because for me, I keep telling my students everything I learned about digital marketing was self-taught because there wasn't anything like simulation, right? So when I started doing Facebook advertising, like running ads on Facebook, running ads on Google.
It costs money.
I was making expensive mistakes, you know what I mean? Because I didn't even know where I was throwing my marketing dollar at and the return on investment. But they're lucky enough to have simulation, which gives them almost a real world experience. And throws them into the deep end where they have to think, use strategy, design solutions. So
we actually had a little problem here at
privilege.
Pepperdine when Stu Kent first came out with their simulations. And what it was a little bit of the wild, wild west that teachers, without really coordinating with each other, were kind of grabbing simulations. And there were none that were appropriate for the classes I was teaching at the time. And here at Pepperdine, over the course of 20 years, I'm sort of like a pinch hitter that, somebody's going on leave, or they're
Sabbatical.
They're going on sabbatical, or they're going to Europe to teach in Florence, Italy for a semester on short notice. Brian, can you teach this class?
You're like, yes, I can go to Florence. Yes, that's what I want to do.
I was trying, but no, they said, you're just going up to the third floor and there's your classroom.
That's your Florence.
So my first experience, and this was not Stu Kent's fault, it was definitely my fault, but we were trying to jump in, but figure out which simulation for which level class. It was just that early, we didn't know. And we had one adjunct who had sort of laid claim and really wanted something, but it wasn't really the appropriate class. Yeah. And so I can't even remember what the sim was, but it was simulation, and it was something digital. It was probably just like social media marketing or something like that.
Finding the right influencer.
And I did like one online session with one of the Stu Kent coaches who kind of taught me how to set it up. And I set it up and on courses, and I thought I laid everything out properly. And, I talked about it the first week of class, and I was so excited we're going to do these simulations because I was going to do it with them.
Yeah,
right?
I always
to
did
have fun
that.
and see how I did, see how I measured up. And we get to the second week, which is the first week that we're going to go back and review what we did in the simulations. And one of the students raised her hand, and she goes, that was a lot of work. And I go, I think the first module was only like an hour. She goes, the first? And I go, yeah. She goes, I did 22.
What? Oh,
she did the whole semester simulations in one weekend.
I have had that.
Me too. Yeah.
I went, my bad. Sorry.
We're going to start that again. And you fail. No.
Well, and because of the per student cost.
Yeah. Oh, right.
She was done for the semester. So she, and I think this may have been the very tail end of COVID, because I seem to think it was maybe online or maybe hybrid or something. But in any event, I love the concept of it, but they just put me back to teaching intro to advertising after that, so it didn't really.
Stu Kent is really good at branding. I mean, the first time I used them, they asked me favorite candy bars or something, and 2 weeks later, they sent me my favorite candy bar in the mail. Did that ever happen to you guys?
No.
And you must be special.
I know.
I don't even use their products, but I'm just saying that maybe we need another sponsor. So, I even have one of their stickers on my phone because it says everything I say will be on the exam.
Hold it up to the YouTube camera.
Whatever.
So,
but I'm just saying, they're good at it. I have a T-shirt that says it's on the syllabus or something like that.
You haven't been using it, but you're very anxious to, is what I remember you telling me, Stu Kent, that you're very anxious.
We are sponsored, by the way, just so you guys know, and our listeners. Spotify is one of our sponsors because we're on Spotify. And
now, the one issue is that Spotify doesn't know they're our sponsor yet.
And then also Red Bull.
That's just a detail.
We have quite a few students that work at Red Bull, and then they supply us with Red Bulls.
Thank
so
goodness.
therefore,
so why is the Red Bull thing?
well,
goodness.
because the station manager yells at us every time we're having drinks in here.
Oh, God. Oh,
Don't worry about it. He's not watching. Okay. He'll come around this morning.
Oh, wait, busted.
We have
it's
the
on
camera.
Now. Whoops.
Darn it.
Boy, we're going to have to learn
so
the tricks when we're on camera as well. We can get away with murder in here when that camera is
So
on.
I think we should learn about the Boodle Box, though, right?
Yes,
so Boodle
yes.
Box is not Stu Kent.
No.
But I also think all these companies we're mentioning, they need to sponsor the podcast. Because
Absolutely.
this is free airtime.
I know.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
Hey, we could
B-Dawg,
wrap
you
my
can
car.
hire me
We could put logos on my car. I'll drive it up and down when I'm not teaching. I'll drive it across
But I'm also
campus.
willing to be head of marketing for your podcast.
I would
Thank
love
you
it.
for hiring me.
I would love it. Our head of marketing and sponsorship procurement.
Absolutely, yes. 10% for every business
That's
I
right.
bring.
That's right. So Boodlebox is a fun story. So, well, first I want to say, and it kind of all goes together, I was forced into AI. This was not something I wanted to do. I know there's a lot of me's out there. There's a lot of us that feel
that
very
pain.
similarly.
Yeah.
I was truly forced into it because, as you can imagine, when you teach content marketing, when AI first came out, right, ChatGPT made its big splash in 22. That's what everybody started using it for in terms of marketing in that field. And so we have an advisory board. And so we've got the chief marketing officer for the Padres and
That's the station manager. He
manager.
came
He
over
needs
here.
to take a picture of us though for social media.
We'll get him.
Okay.
Oh, that's funny. So we have all these.
I totally thought I was busted there.
I know.
Whoops.
Sorry, go on. Okay, Boodlebox.
So yes, so we have all these. We have an advisory board, and they said you really need to figure out how to put this into your curriculum. And so I did begrudgingly. So I'm a writer and a speaker. So I immediately thought, like everybody else, this is going to be the detriment to what I do in my field. But I decided to put it into a blog assignment. Let's use chat to write a blog. And I had the best time with my students. It was the first time in 10 years, in a decade of teaching, that the student actually acknowledged the learning objective for the assignment, and then noticed that the writing from ChatGPT didn't actually achieve the learning objective. And then and did this, actually pointed this out in front of the entire class. And so all the other students started looking at the learning objectives.
They're like, wait, there's learning objectives?
Right? And started reading the writing. Like, when has that ever happened?
Wow.
Right? Usually you're
All
so
the time
tired.
when we're
right?
doing assessment.
Yes. And so I noticed that it actually was stimulating critical thinking. So I had so much fun. I decided, why not just keep going?
Right.
So fast forward 2 years, and all we really had was chat. But now we're sort of exploring with Gemini, sort of exploring with Copilot, if you trust Microsoft, which, let's be real, who does? Right? But it kind of exploring with these different platforms. And what I noticed in my class was it still was primarily ChatGPT. But Stanford put out a report about 1.5 years ago that showed that the accuracy of ChatGPT is actually getting worse, not better.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So as somebody who was forced into this and having to teach myself everything, because there is nothing out there really, just like when digital marketing first started. And so I'm teaching myself and I'm reading all this information. I'm like, well, I don't want my students to keep using chat. So we went to a conference, EduCause, if you've ever been part of that. It's a huge conference in education, and Boodlebox was there. And so it was actually my dean who met them, and she came back and said, Christina, you really should connect. And I had this idea in my content marketing class. I wanted to, because fast forward, we're now past just prompt engineering. Now we're into advanced AI skills. This thing took real quickly. And so we're into advanced skills, and I wanted my students to be able to develop a custom GPT. But on chat, it's terrible. And it trains the system, and there's environmental issues that are related to that and all sorts of other things. And so I didn't want to do it on chat. And so I actually just asked to meet with the CEO of Boodlebox. He took my meeting.
Is
and
that
I
Sean?
said, it is France. France.
Oh, yeah.
Sean was the
Yeah,
one
and
who-
he's a lecturer actually at West Point.
Okay.
And so I met with him and I said, I've got this crazy idea. I want to create a custom GPT. I want all of my students to be able to do that. And I want them to be able to train the GPT to develop original content that would actually rank for a real business. And he goes, we're rolling that out in 6 weeks, which was the exact time frame for the spring semester to happen.
wow.
Yeah. And he said, let's do it together. Let's figure this out and we'll let you do it. And what I loved about Boodlebox is they license with all of the major Gen AI platforms. So you don't have to just use one. You can experiment within Boodlebox platform. Very easy. It's a click of a button. You just change it from chat to Perplexity or to Gemini or to Claude, which happens to be one of my favorites.
Yeah, I've started to use that with the students in the AMA club, and I like it too because it puts all the coding along the side, so it makes me feel like it's really thinking alongside with me.
Right?
Anyways, but I do like those. Like, I didn't know until when Gary started talking to me about you and Boodlebox, like how all these platforms are coming together and making it easier. I mean, it just makes sense.
It is. And actually, Boodlebox was designed for higher education. So what I can do is I can create folders for all my assignments, and I can see all the prompt engineering for each one of my students. So instead of them having to take a bunch of screenshots and submit it, which is very cumbersome, I can actually just go right into Boodlebox's platform and I can see everything and I can give them real-time feedback on their prompt engineering.
Is that a dashboard that they've given you as the instructor?
Correct.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I
It's
should give you
phenomenal.
access because they gave me like 30.
Yeah, I have one.
So Sarah has, Anthony, Clive.
I tried to talk
Joe?
the AMA club into it, and they were like,
Well, and now
Everything-
Boodlebox just launched assignments. They now have higher education assignments directly in the platform. So you can just adopt those assignments, and you yourself can run your class and have and kind of test with that and play
Wow.
around with that.
Wow.
But that's just the chat feature. Boodlebox has its own. Now they don't have GPTs because of licensing. They call it a bot. But it's really the same thing. Those terms truly are distinctly different. But in this case, Boodlebox's custom bot is just like a custom GPT. It's just they have to call it different. So there's the chat feature in Boodlebox. There's also the custom bots. So what we do, like in value creation for entrepreneurship, we have different stages of value creation, and you can create a bot for each one of those stages, and they can play around and train the bot for these specific tasks.
and I think that's smart because the more I have like students coming back and talking about what they're doing in industry, and like we went to L'Oreal, and every organization has their own internal AI systems that they expect people to use, and it's not the way that we're teaching students how to use AI right now in the classroom. We're teaching them, okay, go and cite it and blah. But no, it should be like an internal system that you're using. Use these tools that we have. This is the voice of our company. I mean, Google came in and talked about that with my class. And then I had a student at a company called Donut Studios, and they call it a DWIT way, like do it your own way or something. I can't remember what it stands for, but she's like, we have to do it the DWIT way in the DWIT AI tool system, which is just exactly what you're saying, right? With those GPTs that you're creating.
Like it's customized. You know, a lot of companies, that's what they're doing. And we also did see that on the data from the industry. Part of our research was this data for like chief marketing officers across the US. I think there were 526 of them that were surveyed. And they actually say they are all using AI, but mostly customized GPTs or whatever you want to call
or
them.
bots.
Yeah. I think it's very clear in the market that we're moving away from open source AI use and more into closed loop, which is better for the environment, honestly, right? The open source, if we just told our students how much it impacted the environment alone, it would dramatically reduce their use, right? Because they're conscientious of the next generation and wanting to do better. It is unbelievable the amount of toll that a company like OpenAI has. Whereas Boodlebox is dramatically different because you're not training the model and you're not training in an open source environment all of the code. It's essentially like creating your own little digital assistant.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
One of our listeners just said they have an internal system called Oscar for AECOM. I don't know. I
Love
think
that.
I think it's really smart what you've done, and you're on the forefront. What's the Westmont person's or West Point person?
France Wong.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the CEO of Boodlebox, and he's a technology guru, but also has the higher education background. And to me, that's the sweet spot. To me, that's what's missing, because I sit on OpenAI's education forum, higher education forum, and it is a disaster in terms of trying to use ChatGPT, bringing it into the classroom. There's very little control. Just in the learning process, not in terms of control of use, but just in terms of the learning process, where with Boodlebox, you have your own class, you have your own system, the educator can manage it, and the students get all the feedback directly in the system. They don't even have to go elsewhere to try to figure out all of this.
So I'm seeing something I'm curious to ask
Yeah.
you professionals in the room that are very entrenched in digital marketing. And it feels to me like there is a parallel right now with streaming television. And if you think about it, when most of the streaming channels began,
Yeah.
they were free. And it was easy to access. And we just kind of jumped in and, I've got Disney Plus now. And, Apple came out. And, Paramount Plus. And
Hulu was the one I had, and then they had to start paying. I was like, nope.
yeah, so we had But now we're paying for almost every one of them. So the consumer reaction to that is, I ain't paying for all of them.
Right.
I'm going to pick and choose. So if what you really want is football, you're going to do one of the sports. And if you really want, for me, it's Ted Lasso and shrinking, that I got to have my Apple TV, and I don't really care about a lot of the rest. It feels to me like AI is kind of in a similar zone in that we all started with ChatGPT. We kind of got our toes wet. We put our toes into that pool.
Yeah.
But if you do a search for different applications of different AI engines, there are so many that are emerging now. And it's really the crack dealer mentality, like streaming television is. Let's give them a little taste of free, but if you really want the good stuff, you're going to have to pay.
Yeah.
And is it going to be a token charge? Is it going to be a monthly? Is it going to be and for us, does a school buy into that? Individuals obviously will be buying into it as well. But would you say that's kind of a similar assessment, that what we're seeing is there's a whole world emerging and we're not even quite sure what all the pay structures are going to be and where we're going to education obviously is going to move very quickly to things like Boodlebox because of those features that make it easier to teach.
Well, yeah, and it's advancing so rapidly. Like ChatGPT, I don't know if you heard 2 weeks ago they announced they're partnering with Venmo, so it's now going to have e-commerce as a part of the platform. I mean, who really wants to be on ChatGPT and have e-commerce? I don't really need that, right?
I'm scared of that. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't even find my bill so I could get my reimbursement through
But they also
Pepperdine.
announced that they will not be giving any kinds of like medical advice on those ChatGPTs. But the main concern is when we were at Google, one of the things that came up was, is ChatGPT a threat to Amazon and also Google itself when it comes to from like an e-commerce perspective? Because when you go onto ChatGPT and ask something like, I was looking at protein shakes, it's going to give you suggestions and it's basically collecting all the data and giving you suggestions of like the most popular protein shakes.
Yep.
So the question was, will people in the future be able to purchase off ChatGPT? And now that they're partnering with an e-commerce platform, basically that's a shopping online experience being built.
When will there be an AI shopping network, right? And when will the affiliate module kick in where they're actually going to get a kickback from what they recommend, which is going to take away the transparency? I mean, there's a rabbit hole, but we've seen it.
Yeah.
We saw it from broadcast television to cable, from cable to satellite, from satellite to streaming. It's happened across the board.
Our listeners are asking, it's called Boodlebox, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Boodlebox.
Yeah.
And it's funny, my students that I introduce at Point Loma to Boodlebox, because we use it in my class, when they leave and graduate, they now only use that account. Because if you've heard of PI, have you heard of PI? It's the emotionally intelligent one. They have a license for that, which is really rad, because if you're having a bad day, you can just go into your account, ask it to help you have a better day. But there's so many different things that Boodlebox can do quickly. Right. Otherwise, I'd have to log into every single one of my account.
Right.
I would have to have my prompt. I'd have to copy and paste. Within the system, I have one prompt, and I can then change just with a click of a button the different AI platform, and I can compare and contrast very quickly and easily what the output that it's giving me is, and then decide what's useful that I can actually take from the AI and go add my human touch to and make it my own.
And there's got to be other ones, right? Like, what are the ones that are competing with Boodlebox?
Oh, right now there isn't, but I'm sure
But I
there's
feel
going
like
to be.
Stu-Kent is going to go that
That's
way.
what I was thinking too.
I feel like, Stu-Kent, Hablo, all the ones from
Hubro.
Hubro.
Yeah, those guys.
Sorry.
Those guys are so fun.
They're so fun. I know, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be competition.
Yeah.
But I like all the features that you kind of walked us through, because as a professor, I'm able to track the progress of the students and how they're using AI across different platforms and sort of the different prompts and how they responded. Because like you're saying, the idea of going to different AI, AI tools to look at, that's impossible. That feels like a daunting task. But if everything is on one platform, it makes it easy for me and also these students.
That being on one platform, to me, is huge. And again, I'm not on BoodleBox right now, so it's something I really got to jump into. But it feels to me kind of like the Microsoft Office environment, or in my world, it might be a little bit more the Adobe Creative Cloud, where Adobe did something very smart with creators back when creating wasn't online, when it was offline. But you could take one JPEG, one Photoshop file, one EPS file, and every Adobe product would accept that one. Whereas when we were working on different ones, it was that same, we have to save it differently, we have to import it back into and you're working on 6 different programs, and it was choking every computer in the world.
Right.
I think the more that it can do, not only on the education front, but on the consumer front, on the business front, when you can have sort of that dashboard that says, this is what I need right now, oh, that's the right tool for it.
Well, and I also think a trust factor needs to be in there too, because I mean, AI can give you wrong information. And especially if you're talking about like PI, like emotional intelligence. And one of our listeners was saying that, it takes that like getting to know your therapist away, but now you're asking AI to make your life a better day. And do you trust that they have your best interest in mind?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's what I was going to say. I think one of the really important aspects, especially about teaching students or the next generation of professionals about AI, is not losing critical thinking and ethical decision making, right? Yeah. I think those two things, I'm very passionate about that. That's actually what all of my research has been in. And what's interesting, another reason I am not a brand ambassador of this at all. I've just been using it since I've been forced into
this.
Which
is actually a way better endorsement in my mind.
I'm not paid in any way, but I've been using all of these platforms. And one of the things that I noticed when I first had my students just using ChatGPT, because I couldn't see their account, I couldn't walk through their critical thinking steps in any assignment that I would have assigned them and allowed them to use AI. Because just as an FYI, we don't do AI for everything. Like what you said, I think there's, humans connect with humans for a reason. We do not connect with machines. So I'm very much so about task to fit with AI. So it's not a carte blanche thing. I just want to make that very clear. It's not something that we use for everything. But when I use BoodleBox for a specific task that I want my students, a lot of it's research. In content marketing, you're trying to come up with new topics. As a 20, 21, 22-year-old that does not have a lot of life experience and work experience, it can be very difficult to find a new topic in which to develop content for, right?
Right.
So with AI, the time it takes to research dramatically decreases. Because it's just a tool. It's just like Google. It's just another tool to help us do what we have to do. But what in BoodleBox, what I can do is I can see how they're critically thinking through developing that new topic, because I have access to the account. I don't have access to anything in chat. So I have to force them to walk me through their critical thinking, which is not natural to most students. I know that critical thinking is something I have to do, and I've been taught it most of my life. But if I'm going to tell you how I critically thought through, that's not something I'm really skilled at. But I, as the educator who teaches the 7 dimensions of critical thinking, and I apply it to an assignment, I can see how they're in real time doing it in their BoodleBox account. And to me, that's sort of been like the light bulb for me. That's why I'm such a big fan, is because it gives me the opportunity to help them continue to learn and develop skills that are going to be essential regardless of technology, regardless of where the market goes, regardless of what field you're in. Everybody has to know how to critically think through tasks to make good decisions, and then is it ethical?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we're a live show, so we're going to run out of time. I think we have some people that need to go teach here shortly, but we have so many things to talk about.
Wow, this is like, to me, scratching the surface.
Yeah.
So I want both of you to know that there is an open invitation to come back and do part 2. And I think you need to check Wangari's phone and see if Boodlebox is on the to get as a sponsor list. I think
we have
our
direct
director of
access to
marketing.
them. We'll just email them and be like, if we're using you, you
so
need
much.
to.
Well, thank you both for coming, and we don't want to hold you up from your class because I know you're going to be going to that shortly. But thanks so much. Thanks for coming to another coastal school and sharing some of your expertise with it. Absolutely loved the conversation. I felt like I was the odd duck here because I haven't touched Boodlebox, and I only have 1 hour between this and my next class. I think I got to jump on it right now.
I'll send you a link to join.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do our music out, and so we're going to end this just a little bit early because we usually go late.
Yes.
We're going to try really hard
have
for
the
our
student
next
waiting.
DJ to not step on her show. So thanks, everybody.
And part 2. Yeah, our listeners are already asking about part 2. So
Wow.
we'll have to.
And we do
talk
have
about it.
phone-in capabilities, so it does not always have to be live.
We can take the photo when we're done, too.
I think so. All right. Thank you so much. We'll be back.
Thank you.
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Thank you for
Thanks for
having me.
joining.
File transfer complete. You've been listening to Marketing with Dr. F and B-Dawg on K-Waves Radio and Spotify.